I want to look at some of the ground data today. I'm going to go into the generic animation progress. And this is the ground that the player is touching. I don't want it being here. Instead, just like the others, I'm going to go into the original prefab and create a subcomponent and then a dedicated class for that data. So inside subcomponent, I'll have something called player ground. I'll place it here. And in the subcomponents folder, I'll have player ground script. And this is going to be a mono behavior. Well, not a mono behavior, a subcomponent. But subcomponent is a mono behavior. And we're going to have onFixedUpdate as well as onUpdate. I'm going to go back to the editor. For the game object, add the script. I'm also going to go into my data folder and have something called ground data. This one is not going to be a mono behavior, just a simple class with nothing but a few sets of data. So player ground will have an instance of ground data. We initialize it in the beginning. The subcomponent processor will have the ground data. Subcomponent processor and the ground data reference. So back in this subcomponent, ground data equals ground data. Let me also make this serializable because I want to see it in the editor. Serializable. And back in the animation progress, I'm going to cut this and put it here. Make sure everything is saved. And because the data is gone from the animation progress script, we should now have some error messages. I'm going to go in there and fix them. First, let me press Ctrl T, go into character control. I'm going to create a shortcut for the ground data. Ground data, subcomponent processor, ground data. Okay. Here, we're getting the target. Let me put it here first. And we're comparing the target's ground versus my ground. Or we're looking at it from the player's perspective. We're checking enemy's ground versus Sophie's ground. Return true or false. Let me check the red marks. And the same thing here. We get the target character control. And then check which ground the target is on by looking at the ground data. If that is null, return true or false. I'm going to keep going. Okay, let me also go into character state. Create a reference here. Ground data. Go through a character control. And then get the data. So here, we use that reference, ground data. Okay. Same thing here. We use the reference, get to the variable. And I'm just gonna keep going. Fix the errors one by one. Okay, that's everything. If I play and look at the subcomponent processor, okay, I should be able to see what ground I'm stepping on. So here you see it. Okay, looks like it's working fine. Let me just rename the processor, subcomponent processor. I also want to look at character control and make this a little clearer. Contact points. If I look at the references. So this is what contacts with the box collider. This box. I want to change the name, rename it box collider contacts, and I want to move this into the ground data as well. So cut it, put it inside ground data, and of course we should see some error messages. So we go to the ground data and then box collider contacts. Okay, just go through the errors one by one. Okay, so ground detection should be exactly the same. Let me just kill this guy. It's got nothing to do with the ground, but as you can see, jumping, the roll, slide, everything's working fine. Okay, I'll do more in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.